Hi there. Have you divorced recently? Are you maybe wondering how you can move on? Stay tuned because I'm going to give you 3 tips that can help. I'm Shulamit Ber Lev Tov. You can call me Shula for short. And I'm a social worker at Compassionate Support for Stressful Times in Kempville. We help women, men, and teens recover from the effects of stress and trauma with counseling, acupuncture, Thai massage, and yoga. So, having been through separation or divorce, you probably know how much it has disrupted every part of your life: emotional, physical, financial. And then once all the work is done, you're asking yourself, now that all that kind of mess is over and you're in this kind of quiet period, you might be asking yourself, well, how can I move on? And that's a pretty normal question because there's a void. The future is unknown. So here are 4 tips that will help you. First, tip number 1, abandon all the shoulds. The first step in being able to move on is to stop telling yourself how you should or shouldn't feel. All emotions are valid because this separation and divorce process is so deeply personal. So I invite you to meet yourself right where you are and to tell yourself it's okay. So maybe you might like to give that a try right in this moment. Maybe you might like to place a gentle hand right here in your heart. Maybe take a breath. And say to yourself, no wonder I'm feeling all the feels. This kind of thing is normal. My emotions are normal. Nothing's wrong with me. Sometimes just taking a moment to do that, maybe when you're upset or maybe once a day, can really help create space. There's no predetermined timeline for the process of healing, and shooting on yourself is not going to make it go any faster or help it happen anymore. It's not going to make it better. Having the space is what will help. Tip number 2. Give yourself time to reflect. So, it's been a scramble, or maybe it's been a long haul, and all the work is done, and everything's finalized now, and you can kind of exhale. Sometimes people feel pressure to get right back in the saddle and ride off into the sunset and their vision for their future, but sometimes that doesn't come easily. And reflecting on what you want to come next, what you want to create for yourself next, can be helpful. If we're not choiceful about what we want, then what will come to fill the void may not always be what we want. So taking some time for reflection on what you want the next stage of your life to look like can be really helpful. So maybe right in this moment, you might like to take a breath. And I invite you to cast your mind toward a time in your life when you felt rewarded, fulfilled, and strong. Just taking a breath. A time in your life when you felt rewarded, fulfilled, and strong. Take time to let the memory come in, to notice what you were doing, where you were, who you were with, what you were thinking, what your emotions were at the time. And taking some time to savor that memory, you might like to take a moment also to consider what aspects of this would you like to incorporate more of into your life now and in the future. That kind of brainstorming and reflection can help guide your next steps as you begin to move forward in your life. And tip 3, focus on your strengths. So this whole process, the divorce, the separation, the negotiations, the loss of a partner, changing homes, maybe shifting arrangements with the kids, maybe losing family members, losing connections with friends also. This whole thing can be so demoralizing, right? It can weigh heavy on your heart and really affect your sense of self-worth So taking time to recognize your strengths is an important resource to rebuild your sense of self. So you might like to make an inventory, just do some journaling, or better yet, poll your friends. I know in coaching, you're often encouraged by your coach to do surveys for information. And so I've often seen on Facebook and I've actually even done it myself, I've said on Facebook, what do you perceive are my strengths? And this was to inform my coaching process, but you could use that informally in your own process of moving forward. It's really super surprising the feedback that you can get from people about what they perceive as what makes you strong. So you might discover that you have some strengths you didn't even know you had, or things you did that you didn't recognize as strength. But when other people show them to you that way, you're like, oh yeah, I actually do have these things. And doing this kind of exploration and making this list and affirming your sense of your strengths can serve as a resource that helps you know you actually do have the capacity to move on. And tip 4 is to get support. So as you have lived, divorce and separation is a difficult process, and you can also find yourself kind of lonely and isolated with shifting relationships, but also if you don't know anybody who's having this kind of experience, you can feel kind of like there's nobody in your life who really gets what you're going through. And this is where support groups can be amazing. So there may be some locally in your area. You can just Google, divorce support group, or you can go to meetup.com and search using divorce-related keywords. Because sometimes, no matter how close you are with friends or family, they just don't get you and can't offer the kind of support you would really like. And being with people who are going through some of the same things you are can really be helpful. And, in order to sail, a sailboat needs the wind. And you might like to think of this as like, well, in order to sail forth into my new life, having the wind, the support of others, is what can help propel me forward into my new life. And if groups aren't your thing, or if you find that there's more you want to do and you want some one-to-one support, then this is where counselors and coaches come in, having somebody impartial for feedback and support, and to help you do some of your brainstorming and planning. Coaches and counselors are really good for that. And so at Compassionate Support for Stressful Times, we have counselors who are available to help you, and you can give us a call or email us. The contact information is in the description.